Does it work? Sorry about that. I had technical difficulties with the last one. I don't know. My connection was. Let's see if it uploads. I'll have to reread it if it doesn't. But anyway, where was I? It's talking about something. Who knows by this point? Per usual. Anyway. So there's lots of capture and rescue. I'll start with this. Now the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar, went out and joined together in the battle in the valley of Siddim against Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, title king of nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of asphalt pits. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell on there, but those left fled to the mountains. Then they took all the cavalry of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Then one who escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who at the time dwelt by the oak of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and they were allies with Abram. Now, when Abram heard his brother Lot was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants, born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. So he divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants attacked and pursued them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. So he brought back all the cavalry of Sodom, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. The blessing of Melchizedek. Then the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Sheva, that is the king's valley, after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and the kings with him. Now, Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. He blessed Abram and said, "Blessed be Abram of God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hands." Then Abram gave him tithe of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and keep the cavalry for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing of yours, from a thread to a sandal strap, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich, except only what the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, take their portion." So now, the footnotes from the previous pages. 12:17. The Lord protected Sarah's virtue, and also incarnation. For Abraham and Sarah begot Isaac, through whom the promise in Christ was made. Romans 9:7. Canaan, or 13, 1 through 5. Canaan, not Egypt, was the land of promise. While in Egypt, Abraham never lost his focus on God's promise and the gospel of salvation, for he returned to Bethel, the house of God, and called on the name of the Lord. Similarly, those who possess Abraham's faith keep their focus on the same gospel. 13, 6 through 9. Abraham was a peacemaker, and blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Matthew 5:9. He was looking for his eternal inheritance in the world to come. Creed. See also Hebrews 11:9 through 11. Although he was very rich, he was a man of virtue. For in his heart he was detached from his wealth, and also from the love of land. Thus he overcame strife and made peace with Lot. Therefore, virtue characterized the faith of Abraham, and it will also characterize his spiritual children. 13:10 through 13. Lot, on the other hand, was attached to the beauty of the landscape. It looked like the Garden of Eden, unlike Abraham. He walked by sight. His poor judgment landed him with but an extremely depraved environment. Their godless behavior oppressed and tormented his righteous soul every day. 2 Philistines, 2:7 and 8. 13:14 through 18. Lot pitched his tent in Sodom, but Abraham built an altar. A notable difference in the two men. One trapped himself in the environment of this fallen world. The other focused himself on the Lord. However, the Lord would eventually deliver the righteous Lot from Sodom. 2 Philistines 2:9. 13:12 through 18. The passage is read during Monday Vespers in the 5th week of Great Lent. 14:14. The 318 bishops of the Orthodox Church at the Council of Nicaea were likened to these trained servants of Abraham, as Abraham's servants overcame insurmountable odds. So the bishops, the trained servants of the church, defeated the arguments of the many heretics who denied that the Son of God is co-eternal in one essence with the Father. These servants defended Abraham's faith handed down in the church. 14:18. Melchizedek brought out bread and wine to Abraham. His priesthood typified the high priesthood of Christ, who gives his precious body and blood to the faithful in the bread and the wine to the Eucharist. Christ's priesthood is also called the order of Melchizedek. Psalms 109:4, Hebrews 5:6, and is superior to the order of Aaron in the Mosaic Law. Hebrews 7:11. The book of Hebrews gives numerous reasons for this superiority. 14:19 and 20. Two of the many reasons for the superiority of the order of Melchizedek are: 1. Melchizedek blessed Abraham. Aaron was a descendant of Abraham through Levi. Thus, in blessing Abraham, Melchizedek also blessed Levi and Aaron. It is always greater who blesses the lesser. 2. Abraham paid a tithe to Melchizedek, and in this act, so did Levi and Aaron. Hebrews 7. Therefore, salvation comes through the superior order. 14:14 through 20. This passage is read during the feasts of the Holy Fathers. Okay, moving on. God's covenant with Abram. After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, and with your exceedingly great reward." But Abram said, "Lord, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus, the son of Mazak, my domestic maidservant?" Then Abram said, "Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, my household servant is my heir." And immediately the voice of the Lord came to him, saying, "This one shall not be your own body, shall be your heir." Oh,